Okay, so we're trying this one more time because uh really struggling here. Didn't have the sound on, so I hope it's on this time. I really, really hope it's on. And yeah, I know you'll let me know if for some reason it isn't on. We were gonna get it before the day. Is simply put how to build strength without aggravating your back pain. Okay, so you're watching right now. Please tell me that you can hear me. Just say yes, we can hear you. Because last time I was making a fool of myself telling an entire story and no one was listening. You couldn't hear me. So if you can hear me right now, let me know. Um, and if for some reason I'm frozen, let me know that too. Because it looks like I'm frozen on my side. Good times, good times. Okay, so let's uh let's jump into it. As I said, topic is going to be how to train without hurting yourself, right? To summarize, but really how to build strength without aggravating your pain. Okay, and so for me, that was a really thing to navigate, being that was coming to all of my back pain as a former athlete. So it was just extra difficult for me uh, in that state because athletes know, and anyone who's an athlete out there, you understand the idea of pushing through pain to get the job done, right? That's a very common thing when you're um, uh, a competitive space is you need to get the job done, and sometimes that comes on the other side of pain. And then when you're not an athlete anymore, and you're just living your day-to-day life, and you want to spend time with your family, friends, your kids, you want to be able to work without pain. If you take that same mentality, you're going to end up in pain. I mean, if you're pushing through it, you're going to end up in it. So I had that mentality, and not really understanding that the things that I were doing were causing the pain. And once I got sciatica, when I was in my mid-30s, 35 is when I had back pain for a long time, back threw my back out all the time while I was playing, basketball. Uh, the sciatica was different, right? The sciatica floored me. I couldn't do any activities, couldn't go to the gym. Sleeping was impossible. Lots of medication, lots of crazy positions. Uh, slept on the floor for a long time. That was really all because I pushed through. And even once I felt that static pain, I thought if I just would do more things, it would just go away. Uh, Tried doctors, of course, went to the physical therapy, had inversion table, had back braces. Um, yeah, I've tried a bit of everything. And it's not to say that none of those things helped, but the biggest turning point was when I realized that I was the one who was causing the damage. Does that make sense? And so it were the things that I was doing or the things that I was ignoring, that was the thing that caused the biggest, disruption or the biggest, it's the thing that led me down the path, right? And so once I started to really understand that and really understand that it was simplicity that was gonna get me out of this, and really start to implement, proper posture, proper sitting, not just sitting in positions for long periods of time, just these little things that over the long term really make a big difference. And so I want to really want to highlight one of my client stories. His name's Scott, and Scott had back pain, when he was in his 20s, and he same thing, tried everything, physio, massage, workouts. He just kept re-injuring himself because each time he would try to go back and train, he would get an injury. So not that he wasn't trying, he was, but he didn't really understand what to do, and he really felt like he couldn't be the father he wanted to be. He really struggled and had some really rough times. Uh, Thankfully, and I'm grateful that I was able to work with Scott. He really just embraced that minimalist, I guess, approach to training, knowing that more wasn't always better, understanding that we had to learn how to crawl, before we could learn how to walk and then run. We were really able to work with him and just finding movements and giving him accountability that was required to break through. And Now again, he has no issues. The guy's a beast. He's still a client, and, shout out Scott if you're watching this, I know you don't mind, but, it's just a testament to some cases how simplicity, is the thing that's gonna solve your problem. It's not a bunch of things, like, throwing a bunch of stuff at it is not going to solve the problem, right? And then that's something that I see all the time. Uh, alright, so what mistakes to avoid? Well, I mean, modern lifestyle, makes it very difficult for us. Everything from prolonged sitting, poor posture, just the modern lifestyle generally, it just puts you in a position where your body will adapt to the sitting, and over time, uh, I would even argue that your body's almost forced to stop listening to itself, because you're always in this comfortable position, if that makes sense, and when you're always in comfort, you don't really have to listen to your body. You never have to move because you're finding the perfect position. But the challenge is your body gets really good at not moving, if that makes sense. And then the decreased mobility, lack of blood flow, um, muscle imbalances that are just like weak or muscles you're not using correctly or enough. That all takes place. Now, there's plenty of research out there that says that like sitting alone doesn't cause back pain and whatever. Take the research as you may, but what I will say is I almost equate sitting like a cast. So if you're sitting in this comfortable position, where you're not even supporting your body, you're already putting yourself in a bad position because, you're not moving for one, and then you're sitting up in this position or slouched in a position. And the biggest mistake with that isn't necessarily the position itself, it's more so that you're not moving at all, and you're always sitting in that same position. And then so when you try to access other, positions, whether it be through sitting or sport, or just living life, like standing up straight, your body's just not prepared to do it, and you start to run into these issues, and I see people all the time who, like, work office jobs, and, they sit around all day, they never get up, and then after that, they go do some, like, really vigorous activity, playing sports and things of that nature. And it's not to say you can't be someone who does that, plenty of people do, but that can be something that's gonna lead you down a path, of long-term, um, problems with your back and other areas. Uh, there's this second big mistake I would be pushing through the pain. So there is a belief that intense workouts are gonna fix back pain, right? Just push through no matter what. And I see that as, like, a big mistake, specifically with people with sciatica. Uh, I say all the time, you can't strength train your way out of back pain, and I mean that in the sense that if you there's a happy medium that you need to be able to build strength without exasperating pain or bringing on the pain trigger, right? So if you have something that triggers your pain and you do that thing, your pain will increase, and it won't matter how strong you are. I mean, I was very strong when I hurt my back, and it still hurt. I was still very strong, but I couldn't express that because I was in so much pain. So you can't strength train your way out of back pain. Strength training can be a part of that, but it's not the way out of it, if that makes sense. And true progress is gonna come from gradually increasing intensity as your pain decreases. So I like to kind of like use this thing where it's like a pendulum or, you wanna increase your intensity, but not if that comes at the increase of your pain, you know what I mean? So if they're both going up, that's not a good thing. If I'm increasing the intensity of my pain is going up, uh, you really don't want that, right? So gradually increasing intensity, listening to your body, allowing the pain to decrease, finding movements that you're still working hard, but they're just not hard in the sense that they're causing pain, if that makes sense. And then the big thing here is, the fear avoidance cycle, alright? So, this is the idea just that pain leads to fear, fear leads to avoidance, avoidance leads to weaker muscles and more pain, right? So, one I see all the time is people stop training their legs because, leg training tends to be a big trigger for their back pain, and then so they're in fear, and then that's leading them to not train their legs, and then after that, it leads to weaker muscles, and then it leads to more pain because they are not going into those ranges, and they also actually feel like if they do, they're going to break, right? If I do that, break. So it's really just a really vicious cycle. And you wanna break that cycle by building that confidence, and that's why you gradually increase intensity as the pain decreases. You don't push through and increase the pain, because then that's gonna confirm that you should avoid the movements, right? And pain is a signal. It isn't an enemy. It's your body's way of saying something needs attention, right? Pain is a signal, and far too often people just, um, don't listen to their bodies, right? They have pain and they're just like, "Ah, it's fine. Ah, it's okay. I'll listen later." By the time they start to listen to it, their body is screaming at like, literally screaming, and if you're out there and you're dealing with sciatica pain or are bedridden because of your back or after you lift, you do that leg workout, your back's just killing and throbbing, well, that's it's yelling at you, right? So it's very important, like, you have to listen to your body, and typically, and I'm guilty of this, I'm speaking from my own experience. We wait until it's way too late, right? Until we're in so much pain, and then we seek out help. "Oh, I'm just gonna keep doing what I've been doing. It's gonna work. The pain will go away." Maybe in some cases it has in the past, but I always encourage people, if you're struggling with back pain, to really take take on what I'm saying here, like, regress your movements, listen to your body, seek out, expertise from an expert, someone who knows what they're doing and how to regress training, okay? Um, okay, so how do you actually build strength safely? Uh, Here are key principles. So low impact exercises. So we gotta remember, this is when you're in pain. So, like, you're in pain already, you're feeling it, don't know what to do, you try to do squats, it hurts, you try to do deadlifts, it hurts, you try to do a lunge, it hurts, you try to do overhead press, it hurts. Well, all those things, you could continue to push through, or you could really, really regress your movements and allow that pain to go down and focus on, improving your movement quality. So, like, obviously, like, we can talk about specific areas of training, so I can say, "Hey, you know what? Strengthening your core, it's gonna be awesome," and everyone understands that, so they do a bunch of planks, and they do some glute activation, it's gonna be great, do some gentle stretches, and it's hard for me to tell you exactly what to do or how to do that here. Of course, if you have questions, please send me a DM, I'll gladly give you some resources, things of that nature, but you do want to build a solid foundation without straining your back, right? The foundation you build should be actually allowing your back to heal and then building up the foundation in proper movement and movement quality so that you move well. I don't think there's no such thing as, like, bad movement, like, everything is contextual, right? However, if that movement is causing you pain, then it's bad at that time. It doesn't mean it's gonna be bad forever. It just means that you have to address it in the meantime. So I love, Dr. Stuart McGill's analogy of picking a scab, right? When you have a scab, you have a cut, it turns into a scab, and you keep picking it, it never heals. But if you let it heal, you use some medicine or whatever, like, you probably let the air out, you do all the right things, sometimes there won't even be a scar there, and then now you can scratch it and do whatever you want with it, right? So, in the case where you regain confidence and control of your body and strength and your back pain goes away, you can now get back to doing, deadlifts and squats, getting back to boxing or whatever that thing is that you stopped doing. So gradual progression is very important. If you've listened to me before, talk a lot about something called microdosing approach, and I do not mean that type of microdosing. I mean with movement. Right? So breaking workouts into smaller chunks. Some of my most successful clients have mastered this. They'll break up a workout that I give them into like three different chunks throughout the day. Right? And there's nothing wrong with that. That's actually a really good strategy because to really think that, hey, I'm not gonna move or really work out all day. I'm just gonna sit around and then I'm gonna do this 2-hour workout. I'm not gonna fix my problem. The problem is you're not moving, right? So breaking up your workouts into micro chunks, micro dosing is a really game changing thing, like mobility, whatever it may be. And then, like I said before, increasing intensity and duration as your body allows it. So listen to your body, build the mind body connection. I say this all the time: build the mind body connection. It's like one of the most important things that you could ever build. That's the same thing of listening to your body when it's talking to you. So if you're able to increase that intensity as your body allows it, rather than pushing through, you're never gonna actually run into that problem where you're having the pain in the first place. You're listening and you're listening to your body and you're modulating and training accordingly. Um, And then, spine hygiene, okay? So this spine hygiene is weird because I could say, "Hey, sit up straight and stand up straight," but that's not necessarily what's required, right? There's a few people I talked to. One of my former trainers, uh, told me he had really bad back pain when he was a younger guy, and he told me he got the back pain because he was trying to stand up straight all the time, and he was arching his back, and then what happened? He was stuck in extension, and he had disc issues because of that. So, it's not really necessarily important to stand up straight per se, but I would say the most important thing is to have full ability of, much movement in your body as possible, and I don't mean, like, hyper flexibility, I just mean if you're always hunched over, you might wanna let on extension a little bit, right? If you're always stuck in extension, you might wanna be able to work on flexion. It's just more just about movement quality and being able to your body, express movement through your body, right? So this is, I think, really important when it comes to spine hygiene, but then, like, diving a little deeper, like, something that I practice all the time in spine hygiene, if I, like, say I had to, like, sit for a long period of time, I had a flight or something, I don't know, like, something that's, puts me in a position where I'm like, "Oh, you know what? If I do this for months and months, eventually I'll probably get back pain again." So I do little decompression exercises. I might lie on my stomach because that's a good position for me. It may not be for you, so this is not, I'm not giving you advice here. But I'll lie on my stomach, just kind of pressed up a little bit to get into that extended position. And these are all little things you can do to just mitigate ever getting into the position of being having a bad back. The way you sleep, I sleep with a pillow between my legs. Just these little things here that just put your body in a better position. And then if you combine that with, the frequent movement breaks, you combine that with the proper training, then you're kind of putting something together that's actually going to help solve your problem. Okay. All right, so that's pretty much it for today. I'm gonna wrap it up, but the main takeaway here is, you wanna build strength without aggravating your back pain. So listen to your body, make sure that you're tapping into, these microdose movements or that microdose idea, and then just gradual progression. Remember, you can't strength train your way out of it. Strength training is a part of the solution, but it's not the way out of it, and pushing through pain is just not going to solve your problem, alright? If you have any questions for me, just shoot me a DM, shoot me a message, comment below. I'm happy to answer those questions, and just remember, um, you know what, like, this isn't always an easy path, to recovery, but you have to start taking the steps now. So if you haven't and you wanna know how, shoot me a message. I have tons of free resources, tons of stuff on YouTube. I'll gladly give those to you so you can start your journey. If you have any questions, reach out, let me know. I'm here to help. Okay. I'll be back next week. And one thing, if you're watching right now, I'm going to be doing an announcement tomorrow for a master class that I'm going to be putting on probably about 3 weeks or 2 weeks. I think 2 weeks from now, I'm going to be doing a master class. So if you have any questions about that, shoot me a DM as well. Okay.